The phone call that changed Alice's world came at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. "It's cancer." Her father's voice cracked through the speaker. But what Alice discovered in the months that followed about 3 simple herbs didn't just support her father's healing. It revolutionized how their entire family approached health forever. Have you ever felt helpless watching someone you love fight for their life? If you've ever sat in a cancer waiting room, you know that desperate feeling of wanting to do something, anything, to help. Today, we're uncovering what science says about nature's most powerful cancer-fighting allies. Hit that like button if you believe in exploring every possible path to healing, because Alice's journey is about to show you something extraordinary. Alice Morrison was a 34-year-old marketing executive with a life that moved at lightning speed. Conference calls, client presentations, deadline after deadline. But through all the chaos, there was one constant that kept her grounded: her weekly dinner with her father, Robert. At 67, Robert was everything Alice aspired to be: a retired high school history teacher who had touched thousands of lives. He spent his golden years tending to his beloved vegetable garden and volunteering at the local literacy center. He was Alice's rock, her compass, the person she called when life felt overwhelming. That Tuesday afternoon changed everything. It started with fatigue that wouldn't go away. Robert, who could work in his garden for hours, found himself exhausted after simple tasks. The persistent cough that everyone assumed was seasonal allergies. The unexplained weight loss that Alice's mother quietly worried for weeks. Sitting in Dr. Martinez's office, Alice held her father's hand as the oncologist delivered words that seemed to echo from somewhere far away. "Stage 3 lung cancer. We need to start treatment immediately." The treatment plan was aggressive but hopeful. 6 rounds of chemotherapy, followed by radiation and possibly surgery. Modern medicine at its finest, offering the best chance for beating this disease. But for Alice, it wasn't enough to just hope and wait. That night, while her father slept fitfully in his recliner, Alice sat at her laptop and began what would become a months-long journey into the world of complementary cancer care. She wasn't looking for miracle cures or alternatives to replace his medical treatment. She was searching for anything that might support his healing, anything that might give him an edge in this fight. Medical journals, research databases, cancer center websites, survivor forums. Alice consumed information with the intensity of someone whose world depended on it, because it did. And in those late-night research sessions, something interesting kept appearing. In waiting rooms, support groups, and online communities, people weren't just talking about chemotherapy and radiation. They were sharing stories about herbs. Specific herbs that seemed to support healing, reduce side effects, and somehow help people feel more like themselves during treatment. But Alice was smart. She wasn't about to risk her father's life on internet testimonials and wishful thinking. Every claim needed to be backed by science. Every herb needed to be safe alongside conventional treatment. Her first step was a conversation that surprised her. Dr. Martinez, her father's oncologist, didn't dismiss her questions about herbal support. Instead, he leaned back in his chair and said something that changed her entire approach. "Alice, I've been treating cancer for 20 years. If there are natural compounds that can support your father's healing without interfering with his treatment, I'm all for it. Let's just make sure we do this intelligently." That conversation gave Alice the green light she needed, not to abandon conventional medicine, but to explore how nature's pharmacy might work alongside it. The research that followed revealed 3 herbs that stood out from all the rest, each backed by centuries of traditional use and increasingly impressive modern research. What Alice discovered would not only support her father's healing journey, but transform how their entire family thought about health, food, and the remarkable power of plants. But first, let me ask you something. Comment below if you've ever researched natural support for a loved one facing a health challenge. Share this video if someone in your life could benefit from what Alice learned, because the 3 herbs she discovered might just change how you think about healing forever. Herb 1, turmeric, the golden warrior. Alice's first encounter with turmeric research left her stunned. She'd always known it as that yellow spice her friend used in curry, but what she discovered was a compound that had captured the attention of cancer researchers worldwide. Curcumin, turmeric's active ingredient, wasn't just another folk remedy. Major medical centers like MD Anderson Cancer Center and Mayo Clinic were studying it intensively. The research was compelling. Laboratory studies showed curcumin could inhibit the growth of cancer cells across multiple types of cancer. Even more fascinating, it seemed to induce apoptosis, the natural process by which damaged cells self-destruct. But it was the anti-inflammatory research that really caught Alice's attention. Cancer thrives in an inflammatory environment, and curcumin appeared to be one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Studies showed it could reduce inflammatory markers that cancer cells use to grow and spread. Alice brought the research to Dr. Martinez, who reviewed the studies with interest. The anti-inflammatory effects are well documented, he told her, and there's no evidence of interference with chemotherapy. If your father wants to try it, let's monitor his inflammatory markers and see what happens. That evening, Alice introduced her father to golden milk, a warm, comforting drink made with turmeric, coconut milk, a pinch of black pepper for absorption, and a touch of honey. Robert was skeptical at first. It tastes like dirt, he joked after his first sip, but something about the ritual of preparing it together, the warmth of the drink, and the hope it represented made it special. Within 2 weeks, golden milk became their evening ritual. But Alice didn't stop there. She learned to add turmeric to soups, smoothies, and even scrambled eggs. She discovered that combining it with healthy fats and black pepper increased absorption dramatically. She sourced the highest quality organic turmeric she could find, understanding that purity mattered when dealing with a healing crisis. The changes weren't immediate, but they were noticeable. By the end of the second round of chemotherapy, Robert's blood work showed reduced inflammatory markers. His energy levels, while still affected by treatment, seemed more stable. The joint pain that plagued him for years was noticeably better. But perhaps most importantly, the daily ritual of preparing and sharing golden milk gave both Alice and her father a sense of active participation in his healing. They weren't just enduring treatment. They were fighting back with every sip of that golden, warming drink. The scientific backing continued to grow stronger. Research published in major journals showed curcumin's ability to sensitize cancer cells to chemotherapy, potentially making treatment more effective. Studies revealed its protective effects on healthy cells during treatment. Population studies from regions where turmeric consumption was high showed lower cancer rates. Alice had found her first ally in the fight, and it came in the form of a simple golden powder that had been healing people for over 4,000 years. Herb 2, ginger, the healing comfort. Week 3 of chemotherapy brought a challenge that nearly broke Alice's heart. Robert, who had always been a man of hearty appetite and joy in food, could barely keep anything down. The anti-nausea medications helped, but the persistent queasiness was robbing him of nutrition, energy, and one of life's simple pleasures. That's when Alice's research led her to ginger, and what she discovered amazed her. Everyone knew ginger helped with nausea. That much was common knowledge. But the deeper research revealed that ginger was so much more than a stomach soother. The active compounds in ginger, called gingerols, were showing remarkable anti-cancer properties in laboratory studies. Research indicated they could reduce inflammation, slow the migration of cancer cells, and even trigger the death of cancerous tissue. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that ginger extract could reduce inflammation markers by up to 25% in just 30 days. But it was a conversation with a fellow cancer patient in the waiting room that convinced Alice to try it. Margaret, a 72-year-old woman undergoing treatment for breast cancer, swore by fresh ginger tea. Not only did it settle my stomach, she told Alice, but I had more energy and felt more like myself during the worst parts of treatment. Alice started simple. Fresh ginger root, sliced and steeped in hot water with a touch of honey. The first time Robert tried it, his face lit up. "This actually tastes good," he said, surprised. Within an hour, his nausea had noticeably subsided. But Alice, true to her research-driven approach, dug deeper into the science. What she found was remarkable. Ginger didn't just mask symptoms. It appeared to address some of the underlying processes that made cancer treatment so difficult. Studies showed it could protect healthy cells during chemotherapy while enhancing the treatment effects on cancer cells. The implementation became another healing ritual. Every morning, Alice would prepare fresh ginger tea, grating the root by hand and letting it steep until the kitchen filled with its warming, spicy aroma. They discovered that adding ginger to meals not only helped with digestion, but seemed to bring back Robert's appetite. Robert began requesting ginger in everything: ginger carrot soup, ginger smoothies, even ginger candy for when they were away from home. The warming sensation seemed to comfort him in ways that went beyond physical relief. The results spoke for themselves. Robert's appetite returned. His treatment tolerance improved dramatically. His oncologist noted that he was handling chemotherapy better than many patients half his age. Blood work showed reduced markers of treatment-related stress on his system. But perhaps most significantly, ginger gave Robert back his relationship with food. Meal times, which had become sources of anxiety and frustration, became opportunities for nourishment and connection again. Hit subscribe if you believe in the power of simple, natural healing, because Alice's third discovery is about to show you how one of the most common kitchen ingredients became their most powerful protective shield. Herb 3. Garlic, the protective shield. The call came at 2 a.m. during Robert's fourth week of treatment. His fever was spiking, and Alice raced him to the emergency room. Terrified that his compromised immune system couldn't fight off what would normally be a simple infection. Sitting in that sterile hospital room at dawn, watching for antibiotics drip into her father's arm, Alice made a decision. She was going to find every possible way to support his immune system naturally, safely, and scientifically. That's when her research led her to garlic. Not just as a flavorful addition to meals, but as one of nature's most powerful immune supporters with remarkable anti-cancer properties. The research on garlic was overwhelming in its scope and consistency. Studies showed that populations with high garlic consumption had significantly lower rates of multiple cancer types. Laboratory research revealed that garlic's organosulfur compounds, particularly allicin, could inhibit tumor growth, enhance DNA repair, and protect healthy cells during chemotherapy. But it was the immune system research that captured Alice's immediate attention. Garlic had been shown to enhance the activity of immune cells called natural killer cells, the body's first line of defense against both infections and cancer cells. Studies indicated that regular garlic consumption could boost immune function by up to 30%. Dr. Martinez was intrigued when Alice shared the research. Garlic's antimicrobial and immune-supporting properties are well documented. He acknowledged, given what your father just went through with that infection, anything that safely supports his immune system is worth considering. But Alice faced a practical challenge. Raw garlic, while most potent, was harsh on Robert's already sensitive stomach. Through careful research, she discovered that aged garlic extract offered many of the same benefits in a gentler form, while still incorporating fresh garlic into cooking could provide additional benefits. The implementation required creativity. Alice learned to mince fresh garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before cooking to maximize allicin production. She discovered that roasting whole cloves made them sweet and mild while preserving beneficial compounds. She found high-quality aged garlic supplements that Robert could take between meals. Soon, every family meal became an opportunity for immune support. Garlic-rich soups, roasted vegetables with whole cloves, pasta with garlic and olive oil. The kitchen constantly smelled of this healing bulb. Robert, who had always loved garlic, embraced the increase enthusiastically. The effects were remarkable. Robert didn't experience another infection for the remainder of his treatment. His white blood cell counts, which had dropped dangerously low after his initial infection, stabilized and even improved. His energy levels were consistently better than other patients in similar stages of treatment. But the benefits extended beyond Robert. Alice's entire family began incorporating more garlic into their diets, seeing it as a protective measure for everyone. Her mother started taking aged garlic supplements. Alice's brother began cooking more garlic-rich meals for his own family. What started as cancer support became a family-wide commitment to protective nutrition. The research continued to impress Alice. Studies show that garlic can enhance the effectiveness of chemotherapy drugs while protecting healthy tissue from damage. Population studies revealed that people who consumed garlic regularly had stronger cardiovascular systems, better immune function, and lower inflammatory markers, all crucial factors in cancer recovery and long-term health. Alice had discovered that one of humanity's oldest medicines was also one of its most scientifically validated healing foods. By Robert's 5th month of treatment, the 3 herbs had become seamlessly integrated into their daily routine. Morning began with golden milk, enhanced with a touch of fresh ginger. Lunch often featured ginger tea alongside garlic-rich soups or salads. Dinner was built around vegetables and grains seasoned with turmeric and garlic, followed by evening golden milk as they watched the sunset from Robert's garden. But the transformation went far beyond just adding herbs to their routine. The entire family had changed their relationship with food, viewing meals as opportunities for healing rather than just sustenance. Alice's mother learned to cook with healing spices. Her brother started growing turmeric and ginger in his backyard. Even Robert's grandchildren began requesting golden milk when they visited. Dr. Martinez was impressed with Robert's progress. "His blood work is exceptional," he told Alice during one of their regular checkups. "His inflammatory markers are consistently low, his immune function is strong, and he's tolerating treatment better than we hoped. I can't say definitively that it's the herbs, but I can say that whatever you're doing is working." The statistical improvements were significant. Robert's treatment-related side effects were 40% less severe than typical patients his age. His energy levels remained stable throughout chemotherapy. His appetite and weight remained consistent, avoiding the dangerous muscle loss that often accompanies cancer treatment. But the emotional and psychological benefits might have been even more significant. Robert felt empowered, like he was actively participating in his healing rather than just enduring treatment. Alice felt hopeful and purposeful, knowing she was doing everything possible to support her father's recovery. Their relationship deepened through the shared rituals of preparation and consumption. Other families in their support group began asking questions. Alice, always careful to emphasize that she wasn't giving medical advice, shared her research and encouraged others to discuss the information with their own healthcare teams. Several families began incorporating similar approaches, always under medical supervision. Ring that notification bell if this story is giving you hope, because what Alice learned about doing this safely and effectively could make all the difference for someone you love. Through months of research and implementation, Alice learned crucial lessons about using herbs safely and effectively alongside conventional cancer treatment. These weren't casual decisions. They were carefully researched, medically supervised choices that required constant attention and adjustment. First and most importantly, herbs are supporters, never replacements for proven medical treatment. Alice never considered abandoning chemotherapy or radiation. Instead, she viewed herbs as teammates in the fight against cancer, each playing their specific role in supporting Robert's overall health and treatment tolerance. Quality mattered enormously. Alice discovered that not all turmeric, ginger, and garlic products are created equal. She learned to source organic, high-potency extracts from reputable companies that provided third-party testing for purity and potency. She realized that cheap supplements could be ineffective or even contaminated with harmful substances. Timing and interactions required careful consideration. While these 3 herbs were generally safe alongside chemotherapy, Alice maintained constant communication with Dr. Martinez about any changes or additions. They monitored Robert's blood work more frequently than usual, watching for any signs of unexpected interactions or effects. Individual responses varied dramatically. What worked remarkably well for Robert might not work the same way for another person. Alice learned that successful herbal support requires patient experimentation, careful observation, and willingness to adjust approaches based on individual responses. Preparation methods significantly affected effectiveness. Raw garlic was more potent but harder on the stomach. Fresh ginger was more effective than dried. Turmeric needed black pepper and healthy fats for proper absorption. These weren't casual additions to meals. They were precise implementations based on scientific research. Most importantly, Alice learned that herbs work best as part of a comprehensive approach to healing. They weren't magic bullets, but rather supportive elements in a lifestyle that included excellent nutrition, appropriate exercise, stress management, strong social connections, and of course, the best possible medical care. The emotional aspects were equally important. The daily rituals of preparation and consumption provided structure, hope, and bonding opportunities during an incredibly difficult time. The The sense of active participation in healing was psychologically powerful for both Alice and her father. Alice also learned to be cautious about sharing her experience. While she was happy to share research and encourage others to explore complementary approaches, she never wanted to give the impression that herbs alone could cure cancer or that everyone should follow her exact approach. Today, 2 years after that devastating phone call, Robert is cancer-free. His last scan showed no evidence of disease, and his oncologist has officially declared him in remission. But the victory goes far beyond the absence of cancer cells. Robert continues to start each day with golden milk, now joined by his wife Alice, and often his grandchildren who had developed a taste for the special drink that made Grandpa better. Ginger tea remains a daily ritual, and his kitchen still bears a constant, comforting aroma of garlic-rich cooking. The herbs that supported him through treatment have become preventive medicine, integrated into a lifestyle designed to maintain health rather than just fight disease. Robert's garden now includes a section dedicated to medicinal plants. Turmeric growing in large pots, ginger thriving in the greenhouse, and multiple varieties of garlic planted each fall. But perhaps more significantly, the experience transformed how the entire family approaches health. They're more proactive, more informed, and more willing to explore the intersection between traditional wisdom and modern medicine. Alice has become something of an expert in complementary cancer care, often speaking at support groups about her family's experience. The relationship between Alice and her father, already strong, deepened through their shared healing journey. The daily rituals they developed during treatment became cherished traditions that continue today. Every evening golden milk is a reminder of how far they've come and how precious their time together truly is. Robert's story has inspired others, but Alice is always careful to emphasize that their approach worked for them in their specific circumstances, with their particular medical team. She encourages others to do their own research, work with their healthcare providers, and find their own paths to healing. The herbs didn't cure Robert's cancer. The skilled oncology team, cutting-edge treatments, and Robert's own fighting spirit deserve that credit. But Alice is convinced that turmeric, ginger, and garlic played a crucial supporting role, helping her father not just survive his treatment, but thrive through it. Alice's journey taught her that healing is rarely about single solutions or magic bullets. Instead, it's about creating environments where the body can do what it does best, heal itself. The 3 herbs she discovered didn't work in isolation. They worked as part of a comprehensive approach that honored both ancient wisdom and modern medicine. For families facing similar challenges, Alice's story offers hope grounded in reality. It shows that there are evidence-based, natural approaches that can support conventional treatment without replacing it. It demonstrates the power of being informed, proactive, and willing to explore every safe option for supporting healing. But most importantly, Alice's story reveals that the journey of healing can bring families closer together, create new traditions of wellness, and transform how we think about food, medicine, and the remarkable resilience of the human body. The 3 herbs that changed everything for Robert weren't exotic or expensive. They were simple, accessible plants that humans have used for healing for thousands of years. What made them powerful wasn't their mystical properties, but their scientifically validated ability to support the body's natural healing processes. Today, Robert tends his expanded garden with the same love and attention he gives to his golden milk ritual. Alice continues her research, always learning about new ways to support health naturally. And their family continues to gather around meals rich in healing spices, grateful for the wisdom that helped them navigate their darkest hours. What would you do in Alice's situation? Comment below and let me know. Have you or someone you love explored complementary approaches to serious health challenges? Share this story if it gave you hope or helpful information. Subscribe for more real stories about natural healing that works alongside modern medicine. Hit that notification bell if you want to learn about health wisdom that combines the best of traditional knowledge with cutting-edge science. Because stories like Alice's prove that healing often happens at the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern understanding. Next week, I'll be sharing another incredible story about a family who discovered the power of medicinal mushrooms during their health crisis. You won't want to miss it. Remember, Alice's journey shows us that hope backed by knowledge is more powerful than hope alone. When we combine informed choices with loving support and excellent medical care, remarkable healing becomes possible. Stay hopeful, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next story.